This is an analysis from Alpha Business Media. Today, we're looking at a fascinating and powerful case study in national resilience, Nepal. It's a story about how, forged in tragedy, a country developed an innovative hybrid strategy for disaster management, a strategy that holds lessons for nations all over the world.
Let's start with a number, 8,600. That's how many lives were lost when the Gorkha earthquake struck Nepal back on April 25, 2015. It was a national trauma, the country's worst quake in more than 80 years. It was a number that changed absolutely everything.
But this story, it's not just about tragedy. It's really about what comes next. Because for Nepal, this devastating event wasn't an ending. It was the starting gun, the powerful catalyst that forced a complete, ground-up reinvention of its entire approach to managing risk.
So, to really understand Nepal's strategy, we have to first analyze the core challenge it faces, a dual-threat environment, one that's defined by both geology and climate.
You see, Nepal's vulnerability is a direct result of its geography. It's a country that sits right on the collision zone of the Indian and Eurasian tectonic plates. That makes it a global seismic hotspot. And at the same time, its mountainous terrain, combined with an intense monsoon season, creates the perfect conditions for water-related disasters.
Now, you might think earthquakes are the whole story, but the data tells us something different. While a single earthquake can be absolutely catastrophic, the most constant, persistent threat actually comes from water. If you look at the last 50 years, hydrological disasters, floods and landslides, have accounted for nearly half of all natural disasters in Nepal. This persistent dual threat demanded a dual strategy. Let's look at the first part of this strategy, which addresses that constant threat of floods. To tackle this, Nepal developed a people-centric model that's proven to be incredibly effective and scalable. The central challenge in any warning system is what experts call the last-mile problem. How do you actually get a critical warning to a specific person in a remote village? Well, Nepal's answer was the Community-Based Flood Early Warning System, or CBFEWS, a solution that puts people, not just technology, right at its very core.
The whole system operates as a human chain of trust. It's elegantly simple. Upstream, you have a volunteer postkeeper who monitors water levels. When the water hits a danger mark, they just make a phone call. And that one call triggers a whole chain reaction downstream. Sirens, public announcements. It's low-tech for sure, but remarkably effective.
And you can really feel the system's impact in the words of a local task force coordinator. He said, "We got the news of the flood 6 hours before it arrived. We had enough time to evacuate." Think about that. That 6-hour window is the difference between devastation and survival. It allows communities to save lives, their livestock, and their most critical assets.
And make no mistake, this isn't just a series of random phone calls. It's a well-defined strategic framework. It's built on 4 key pillars: risk knowledge, monitoring and warning, communication, and response capacity. This creates a complete, integrated system, all the way from detecting a threat to community action on the ground.
Okay, so that's floods. But for the other side of Nepal's dual threat, the approach had to be completely different. Fighting an earthquake is a high-tech race against the clock, where your warning window isn't measured in hours, but in mere seconds.
The science behind an Earthquake Early Warning System, or EEWS, is all about wave physics. See, an earthquake releases 2 main types of waves. First come the fast but harmless P waves, and they're followed by the slower but much more destructive S waves. The whole system works by detecting those initial P waves and then blasting out an electronic alert that actually outruns the S waves, giving people a warning of several precious seconds. Faced with this challenge, Nepal made a really pivotal strategic choice. Instead of investing in the traditional, incredibly expensive proprietary systems, it chose a different path, one that's low-cost, built on open-source technology, and designed to be scalable for a developing nation. So what does this look like in practice? Well, the approach is powered by some pretty innovative technology and strategic partnerships. The system uses these affordable Raspberry shake seismometers to create a dense sensor network. All that data is then processed on an open-source platform called OpenEEW, and the whole effort is a collaboration between local engineering institutions and global partners like Duke University.
But, and this is a big but, this ambitious project is still in a pilot phase, and it's up against some significant hurdles. There's an initial $1.5 million budget that's been delayed. The logistics of just deploying sensors across the Himalayas are, as you can imagine, formidable. And the project faces a whole new kind of last-mile problem. How do you instantly warn 25 million people without causing widespread panic?
So,
All of this brings us to the synthesis of these two approaches. And this is where you can see the real core of Nepal's innovation, a blueprint for resilience that's built on two distinct but complementary pillars.
The dual nature of this strategy is crystal clear when you see them side by side. For floods, Nepal uses a bottom-up, community-led system that provides hours of warning. For earthquakes, it's building a top-down, tech-led system that provides seconds of warning. Each system is precisely tailored to the nature of the threat it's designed to fight.
And this is the key takeaway from our analysis. Nepal's true innovation isn't a single piece of tech or one simple plan. It's the creation of a hybrid resilience model, one that values the wisdom of the community and the algorithm of the seismologist equally.
Ultimately, Nepal's story offers a really powerful lesson, not just for other vulnerable nations, but for anyone trying to solve a complex problem. It forces us to ask a critical question. What other immense challenges out there, from climate change to public health, could be solved not by choosing between technology or people, but by intelligently combining the power of both?